welcome to House and Creatives. I'm Ashley.
I'm Jackie.
And today we're going to be talking about how I view and understand structured water.
It was trying to unstructure you right there.
Shimmer structure. This feels like a really, the whole water situation feels really tied into the roots of who I am. I come from a family that would be considered water divas. What a water diva is that no water tastes the same. You know, that every water has a different kind of flavor, and some are appalling and some are delightful. So I've always had this sensitivity to water, right? And if you catch me on any free time, I'm probably in the bathtub or in some kind of water. Take me to the water, you know? But kind of the baseline of this is that I was introduced to Dr. Emoto's work when I was I think I was 13 or 14 years old. I think that stuff had just kind of been released or something. My grandmother had shared it with me. And at that age, if you can remember being that age, stuff like that didn't seem that interesting. You know, I was not that cool as I think I am now, you know. But for whatever reason, the things that were shared with me felt really important, I really connected in and was resonant with it. And so that has sat with me since I was young. And as I've gotten into this work, doing the stone elixirs is kind of where I started really kind of working with water. But if I even go back further of growing up, we used to have written words on our purified water and the water that we had in the refrigerator, and I used to write it on water bottles and different things. So I actually feel like I've been structuring water probably since I was 16 years old. And so this all feels super resonant for me, and I'm excited to share it with you today. So what is structured water? I think that this could look like a whole array of things. It's really about coming in with an intention, you know, first and foremost of having an intention, because water, it takes on this hexagonal pattern and is able to draw in information, right? If you think about the hexagon, it is it's like a portal, okay? If you think about barrels in stones, they make a hexagonal shape, and those are portals to different places. When I use barrels in structured water, that is what I'm thinking, where am I taking this person? And so water already kind of takes on some of that role. You know, we can just direct it with different stones or different flowers or different intentions. And I think it's beautiful because that portal is really kind of using this space that is in connection with the material world, right? Of what we can see and touch, what we can actualize, and the spiritual world, right? Of receiving, you know? And so it is compounding and keeping in the molecules this information that is brought in with light or vibration. And so the water holds on to that. And that here we have structured. It's then structured, right? It's made this hexagonal pattern. It's holding information, you know? Water is memory. Mm-hmm. If you think about in lots of cultures, you know, water holds the memory of time, the memory of our ancestors. You know, you think about baptisms, and you think about in certain cultures that they go under waterfalls and stuff to cleanse themselves and find this purity and to reconnect to a higher version of themselves. Also, babies, are held in a container in a sack of water for their gestation period, and then come out and the water breaks, right? And so as this baby's in there is receiving information from the mom, from its surroundings, preparing to come into this world. You think about memory. Mem in Latin is mindful or to remember, and ori in Latin is like serving for or relating to. So, like taking in, relating to the information that it's provided, and being mindful or allowing it to bring a remembrance to what the water in our body knows, right? We've already come in with a knowing, but we forget.
Did you forget?
I need some water.
Did you? Did you just rebirth right in front of us?
Yes, I did. Thank you. Again, so coming in with an intention, with light or vibration, we do flower essences and stone elixirs, and both of those come in with a blueprint vibration, and that's what we're using as this vibration and light. We also use blue light. We use UV bottles to also contain the information in there so that it is not likely to be disrupted. It will stay in that structure. And so we're trying to tonify and structure this water in a way that will communicate with your body. And there's so many different, there's been a lot of scientific research, but in the scientific community hasn't always seen a lot of respect in some of these studies in trying to bridge science with spirituality. But I think we're coming to a day and an age here that is really being forced together. There's too many things that don't make sense on either side without one another. And so I think it's beautiful that it's coming together. So I spoke of Dr. Emoto and his studies with, displaying certain words to water to see that the water responded in certain crystal forms, so it would come out, joy was these beautiful crystal patterns where hate was it was like a blob of nothing, and
Ugh.
yeah, think about how we talk to ourselves.
Yeah.
Even, and we're 60% water, and so we hear that the conversations with ourselves are important, but on even a cellular level that we don't understand,
Yeah.
Who followed that up was Dr. Vogel, and he did studies. I don't know if you've heard of a Vogel crystal or not, but he followed up studies of trying to come with intention and push that intention through these Vogel quartz crystals into the water, and studying that and noticing how that was manifesting certain changes within his life, and using them to empower him to get to the next spaces that he wanted, and followed this on a scientific journey. We also have Dr. Pollack, who talks about the fourth phase of water, and how this exclusion zone is enhancing our cellular structure to even hold more hydration. That comes in, and we're talking about the big movement of hydrogen water bottles, where we're ionizing the water with an extra molecule of hydrogen to go in and hydrate the cells more, so we're able to flush out toxicity and to bring in new information, so we have these on our site. I drink out of mine every morning, and I feel the difference when I haven't been drinking it. But again, I'm a bit of a water diva, so I am sensitive to these things. But we also have several different people. There's a Dr. Catherine Clinton, who is talks about how actually when these, like in these holistic remedies, how the light or the information is captured in these remedies, and how it's stored, and then when it comes into our body, how it meets with the neurons and is actually changing our biology with responding to this light and information, and which I thought was just, I just felt so resonant with, because I have had so much impact in my life of using the stone elixirs and using the flower essences, and how I can really acknowledge some of those subtle shifts in my life, and going through it. There's also this woman that we follow on Instagram. I can't think of her name. When I find it, I will drop a comment or drop it into the show notes. But she takes certain things, like I do this one off the top of my head because I thought it was funny, but she's doing way cooler things than this one, where she is taking images. So she had like a chicken feather, right? And displayed this in a dish of water, and then she freezes it and then looks at it under the microscope, and sure enough, like you could see the feathers in the water. And I just think that's so beautiful. It's like, just, it's literally happening all around us. You know, it doesn't even have to be something specific. It just like comes with intention, right? That's like where we started, right? Like this all starts with an intention of like where we're going. And so she's like taking like Egyptian glyphs and stuff, and like showing them to the water, and then freezing them, and having these like wild things. You know, I wish that I had her account so I could share it, because I am constantly fascinated about what she is doing and how I'd love to do that myself. Like, so this is why, this is where like my love and my passion comes from making these things, is like, not only do I get to work with plants and stones, like some of my favorite things to play with as an adult now, I get to create these like liquid consciousness, basically, you know, and this is like life force, like put into a certain pattern and a certain blueprint that's able to come into your body and to be in communication with it, to make changes on a molecular level. And that is fascinating for me. And I love to incorporate sacred geometry. Like I said, we use wild plants from here in the Black Hills, and I try to use as many stones as I can that are raw, that haven't been colored or dyed, that are ethically mined or just locally. Those seem to have a really beautiful and powerful impact. You know, the simplistic nature of it, that it's just in its raw form. You know, I think all of us in our raw form is the most beautiful thing that we could do. But, you know, crystals are naturally always in resonance, and on a harmonic level, and in alignment with the electromagnetic field of the earth. And so just kind of tonifying that within our own bodies, and helping us be connected in our electromagnetic frequency, also in our field, you know, and tonifying those things by using these tools. So I hope that you enjoyed this. We do have a free link that has a little bit more information that you can download. We'll drop that in the show notes. And I would love if you gave our stone elixirs or flower essences a try. Or if you have a hydrogen bottle or want to get one from us, we'd love for you to give it a try. And let us know how that works for you. But until then, thank you for being here. Feel free to like, subscribe, or hit that bell to get notifications. Otherwise, we will see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.